Hello. No, okay, all jokes aside, I have been gone for a while, so we're going to fish in Destiny today, and we're just going to talk, because I got a lot to talk about the state of this channel, about why I was gone for so long, and what I'm going to keep doing for this channel in the future. So, let's do this. So you will notice throughout the video, I'm just going to be sitting and doing some of the new Destiny seasonal content in the background, including some fishing, and just playing Season of the Deep stuff while I talk, because I've got a lot to talk about. So, let's get into this. So first thing I want to address, why was I gone for so long? Well, I was gone for so long because I was a college student, and technically I still am a college student, but not only am I still a college student, but I'm actually currently off for the summer, the next 3 months as of me recording this. And so I've been out of, I think, college, or at least currently, because I graduated from community college, which is why you see this stuff currently with me, this beautiful microphone. You can't see it, but I have a Go XLR mixer now. Both very expensive, but it makes me sound nice and beautiful. But the point of what I've been currently doing while, you know, just being off and away from YouTube was that I was really focusing on school and work, because that was really the only two things I had any time for in my life, unfortunately. And then on top of that, the only other thing I really had any time for was to sit down and play games with my friends in a little bit of free time I had, or go and do stuff with my family whenever I had the chance. I really have had no time for myself to do basically anything. But at this point, I have some more time, so we're going to stick with this, and we're going to see what happens. So the next thing I want to talk about is what have I been doing the whole time, and am I going to be making more content? One, I've actually been writing a bunch of ideas and stuff for different content. I actually have a list I can look over here in a second, and I will do that. But before I do that, I also want to say that I have been making a lot of content on the side, or I have made a lot of content in the last few months and or like year or so that has kind of just been lost to time, because I'm actually using a different editing software now. I was in Premiere Pro, but I don't have the money for Premiere Pro anymore, so I'm actually teaching myself DaVinci Resolve, which I would argue that DaVinci Resolve is better than Premiere Pro, and it's free. But that's just me. Anyway, so I have been teaching myself how to use DaVinci Resolve correctly. I'm been, you know, stress testing and fixing it. That's actually one of the reasons I made this video, other than to be a big update for where I've been, and other than to be in, you know, an update video and where the hell I have been and what's going to happen with the channel. So one thing that actually is a reason I'm going to keep using this stuff, actually, this very expensive piece of equipment you see in front of you, is that I'm actually going to write, create, and fully finalize my voiceover reel, which is something I've been wanting to do for actually the past like 3 years. I've just had no time to actually make that happen. But at this point, I actually have the time over the summer to be able to actually write it, sit down when I have open time, and just create stuff. And not only creating content for you guys, but making my voiceover reel and then putting that out there. And, you know, who knows, maybe I might actually start getting some VO jobs and be able to actually make voiceover content for both just the channel and for other people, make some money out of it. Who knows? I mean, like, there's all kinds of things that can happen if I just commit to actually doing it. But I also want people to know, or at least want all of you to know, I actually am going to commit to making video ideas, because I've had a lot of video ideas in the last, you know, few months to a year where I have been writing them down, and I actually have a really large list in my phone, as you can tell, of random shit I have come up with. And since we're having to move, it looks like in-game I'm having to move over to Savathun's Throne World real quick. I'm just going to go over there, and while I'm in orbit, we're going to talk about some of these video ideas I've had, because they're all, honestly, a lot of them are very interesting. So we'll get into some of these in just a second. So let's look into some of these ideas, because I actually have a lot of them written down. So first of all, one of the biggest ones I picked, and one I'm actually probably going to make, it's going to take a little time, granted, but I actually kind of want to make this one, is I want to make a video essay on the Five Nights at Freddy's series. One, because I grew up around it, and it to me is one of the most just classic forms of video game horror that's ever come out, and it's just one of my favorites. And it has such an interesting, what I call nostalgic horror, I guess. I'm not going to delve super deep into it because I want the video to actually be good. But just know that that is an idea that I have. Another one I have is just basically just a long-ass video where I sit down and just talk about random anime stuff, things that I like, what my tastes are, what I like, what I don't like, my ideas on certain things and how I feel certain things should be. You know, people, it's purely just going to be my opinions about anime. I'm assumedly thinking that that's what it's going to be. I assume the video is just going to be like 30 minutes of me sitting down just talking about my opinions in anime. That's probably what's going to happen. As you can tell, I mean, you can't see everything in this room, but I am a huge anime nerd. I'm literally wearing Cowboy Bebop at the moment. Like, I have a lot of fun watching anime. I'm a huge nerd for anime. I'm a huge fan of it in general, not just like certain shows, but like anime as a medium, I'm a huge fan of. So being able to sit down and come up with some new stuff related to that will be kind of interesting. So keep an eye out for that video, because that's going to be probably one of the more fun videos I'll make. My other video idea that I think is going to be a lot of fun is me looking into the Souls series, which is, for those who don't know, Dark Souls 1, 2, and 3, looking into the offshoots that From Software has made, and I guess you could call that series Bloodborne, Sekiro, Elden Ring, things like that, and just talk about how all of From Software's titles have affected my life, because to be entirely honest, I've been around From Software games since like 2015, something like that. I've been around FromSoft titles for a long time, and they've been a huge piece of my life for a long time. So if I didn't make a video on it, I feel like it would just be criminal. So yeah, that's gonna happen for sure. But I will say there's a lot of other ideas in here that are kind of interesting. Like I actually had a video that seems kind of interesting, and I would like to know if some people would enjoy it, but I'll ask some people about a video that I wanted to write called Examples of Great Sequels in Media, just sequels in general. A working title might be called The Art of the Excellent Sequel. Who knows? It was kind of an interesting idea. Let's look through some of these here. We got stuff like what Spider-Man No Way Home did for the MCU and why comic book fans love that movie so much, myself included. Hollow Knight video. Because I know that some people are like, Hollow Knight? They're either like, wow, Hollow Knight, or what the hell is that? Just a video about Hollow Knight, looking over some of the small details about its world, and also figuring out, I think the focus of the video will end up being what made it so popular and why it's still consistently one of the most fun to play and just well-made open world Metroidvanias that has been put out in the last like 10 years, other than, you know, Castlevania and Metroid itself. Like I said, there's a lot of things, but just know that I've got a really long list of stuff that I'm going to keep playing, and just like games I'll keep playing. Eventually, I kind of want to sit down with some of my friends that I hang out with on a regular basis, and I want to take some of my friends that I hang out with all the time, and I want us to make some videos together and have some content with just us kind of messing around, having fun, laughing, making fun of random stuff that we enjoy. And sometimes we could just have, like, honestly, podcast episode like videos of us just talking about random shit, because we're kind of that way. Let's look at a little more of these. We got like the strength of Counter-Strike and how it redefined the shooter genre at the time when it came out. And that means in general, not just CSGO. I know people are going to be like, oh, CSGO. Would you give me a minute? Okay. Why I love Hunter x Hunter so much. That's a very specific anime video. But I actually have really I've been wanting to talk about Hunter x Hunter for a while, because I have 2 Hunter x Hunter posters, and I've watched Hunter x Hunter entirely like 3 times. And that includes the arc that everyone for some reason either loves or hates, which is Chimera Ant. Yes, I watched it all 3 times. Gum at me in the comments. I don't care. The next one I think is probably the biggest one that I need to have an update for, is the Bloodborne lore video, because I talked about that a lot in my Bloodborne retrospective video, which if you haven't watched that video, what are you doing? Go watch it. Link in the description. But I actually really enjoy the Bloodborne lore. Like, I know it's really deep, but I talked a lot about making that video, just a video about the lore of the game, because I feel so strongly about it. But the point is, I'm gonna have to put a lot of time into that video, and it definitely isn't going to happen fast. So I apologize if people are like, you know, those who do consistently watch my content, if you're like, you know, oh, you should keep making content, you should make that Bloodborne lore video that you talked about so much. And I did at one point talk about it. Especially in the Bloodborne retrospective video. I talked about it a lot. Like, I think I name dropped it like 3 times during that video, and yet it didn't matter because because either way, I still haven't done it yet. Now, I understand that's like annoying to some people. It's like, if you talked about it, you should make it. You're right. But that's not a simple video to make. That's a very hefty video that I'd have to sit down and write and work on and make things, and just like, there's a lot to deal with. It's how do I explain it? Bloodborne's lore is very deep, and that video is probably going to be like 45 minutes to an hour long once it's edited. I am afraid to know what the actual file size raw of that video is going to be, but I'll get to it. Okay. Let's see. Some other video, just random video ideas. Music of the Soul series. That's going to be harder for me to make because of, copyright laws and fair use and all that stuff. We actually did a lot of research, my friends and I, about how copyright laws work on certain songs and how certain music can be used in videos depending, and how lenient and non-lenient Creative Commons is and what technically falls under Creative Commons and all that kind of stuff. That's going to be a harder video to make, but it's just one of the ideas I had, so I thought to talk about it. But I have a lot of ideas on this list, and I could go forever talking about these and just coming up with random stuff and just, kind of talking, just shooting stuff out of the side of my head, talking about what I could come up with or what I would want to make. And, the point is that I just want it to be known that I am making things. I am coming up with ideas. I'm actively working on them. I'm also actively running into and coming up with ideas for a personal DMD campaign that my friends are running that I am DMing. So I'm also working on that while making content for YouTube, and I'm going to start streaming some more consistently. I hope to make some more streaming content, and I hope to just continually keep streaming because, all memes aside, I think streaming is super fun, and I have a very segmented and fragmented way of thinking when I talk, so it allows me to be very aggressive whenever I'm on stream. I can usually keep my brain pretty adamant, and I can keep my brain active while playing something or talking about the game or whatever it is. Like, I have a much better streaming personality than I do for a content creation personality, but I still do both because I think that both, for me, have their own kinds of fun to them, So I'm just going to keep doing whatever, and I'm going to keep creating content, and definitely over the next 3 months, while I'm off for the summer, and especially, I will try my best once I get into I'm going to be going to university. I graduated from community college, which is why I own these 2 things, these very expensive pieces of equipment, because my family, I love all of them, were nice enough to put together some money for me for a graduation gift and got me this Go XLR and very expensive XLR microphone. So let's get some claps in the comments and chat for my family for being goat. Yeah, let's go! Anyway, so something else I kind of wanted to talk about, because I know that it's going to be like, wow, you have a new mixer. How does it work? Well, one of the things that's beautiful about this mixer... Can you stop? My microphone stand's being very cringe at the moment. I apologize if you hear any of this random noise in it. I'm trying my best to cut it out, but it's fine. So my mixer is very impressive because there's a lot of things you can do with it, and it's actually going to help me make better content, depending. Because I have a sampler where I can say, hello there, how are you? Hello there, how are you? And it comes out in my own microphone. I can always, hello there, how are you? And I can play back whatever I want. So I can, I also have a button. I have a, what the going on? Are you what the is actually going on? I swear to anyway, you get the gist. So I have that. I have a lot of stuff on this, but I'm gonna be honest with you, this mixer is entirely too fun to play with. I've been using it for a good few weeks, and it's, oh man. Stuff like megaphone time, hello, just wanted to record a message for you. Anyway, I got stuff like echo. And I got reverb. I apologize for all of your ears. I can
make my voice a lot higher. Hello, how are you? How was your time? Having a good time? I do whatever.
I can also make the voice a little lower. to the point where you can probably not understand what I'm saying.
Let's see. I mean, I've got all kinds of other stuff in here. I've got the
Hard tune thing where I can be like, hi.
anyway. I've got robot that sounds so abrasive to the ears. I apologize for all of your ears. But anyway, that's basically what it is. And I've also got some sliders and stuff for different audio tracks and stuff. I'll eventually work on those, and I can be like anyway, you know, I have my own sliders for everything. But the point is, I'm working on stuff. I just want that to be. I know this is a really very chaotic video of me just saying random shit. But I'm working on stuff. It's taking its time. It's gonna be a little bit, and I mean, this video is probably gonna be the first one out, and then I think I might make that anime video next, purely because I just want to keep making content, and I enjoy making content a lot, but I haven't had a lot of time to make stuff in the last few years. So now that I have time during the summer, and I had these next few months to just continually work on stuff, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna 100%. I'm making that. Like, I promise, I'm gonna consistently work on it. Come up with new ideas, write those ideas out, make scripts for the video essays and certain videos that I'm actually going to work on. Because I know for a lot of cases, it's hard for me to commit to stuff. I have a lot of issues with commitment, not just like, I mean, like in terms of content, like my regular life, I'm fine. But like when it comes to making stuff and just committing to sitting down and making content and stuff, it's hard for me to do that. But I promise I have the drive and the ambition at this point to just sit down and make it. Like, I'm going to keep doing it. The point I'm trying to make is that I'm having fun making content again, and so I'm going to continue doing it. And I'm also going to try and stream some more, like I said before. And I really hope to see all of you there. And yeah, so it's been Ilaria.